Adam, Tyrell make his debut this weekend. How exciting is that for the club?
Yeah, I've done a few this year, but was he the third? Maybe the fourth? Yes, exciting. Yeah, he trained really well yesterday, and obviously with Longy going out of the side, he fills the void. So, young 19-year-old, he'll play, so he won't be the sub, and it's exciting.
Will Jake Hunt come back into the side as well? Is he fit to go?
Yeah, he'll come back in, and Ryan Marrick will come back in. So there'll be three changes to the side.
Is Tom Barras travelling today after the tragic news
Yep.
overnight?
The father just announced that Jamie Elliott won't play. Is that a little win?
I didn't know that. I won't say I'm disappointed about it. But, all clubs are dealing with injuries at the moment. Obviously we're missing a few as well. I think we're starting to creep up. I think up 10 or 11 injuries. But we're not alone. Across the board, it seems to be, every year seems to be more and more. So, yep, you got to deal with these things. And it's about squad mentality, really.
Aside from replacing Noah, what else does Tyrell bring to this side?
Oh, he's got good skill and brings high speed as well. And look, whether he's completely ready right now as a young teenager, but to just get that exposure is great for him. And in the long term, we see some really bright prospects. He's got AFL standard profiles that we really like.
How close was Gaffy to getting a recall, considering the injuries to your midfield?
Yeah, really close. Yeah, yep. So he's ready to go. It's about probably more opportunity now. He's worked really hard on his game. He's leading really well down there. He's pretty selfless with some of the things he's been doing. So no problems playing him. It's opportunity at the moment, and he's fighting with some other players. So that's just the nature of it.
We take Jermaine then as the travelling emergency.
Yeah, JJ trouble.
And just about Jake Waterman, so he hasn't got a hammy, has he? That's been
No, I think I think he had some awareness after the game. He must have told someone who's told someone who's told someone, and the scan sort of suggested there's no hamstring. So he would have been a test this week if he hadn't had a concussion, but it was a fair chance he would have played.
And how is he? It's obviously just a regular, not when you can't have a regulation concussion, but yeah.
No, he's passed the first couple of steps towards being available next week, so he's in pretty good spirits. I saw him here yesterday. He's a bit sore. He's had a pretty big start to the year, so a week off won't hurt him.
You've spoken about how winning games at home is the first step in the rebuild, and winning games away is a little bit tougher, especially with the younger your side's getting. How do you go into this weekend against a very powerful team in Collingwood, albeit they're probably not at home as such?
Either away, playing at Marvel. Look, we just see it as a good challenge for us. I mean, we weren't great against Gold Coast. And before that, I think there was the Adelaide games where I think we're pretty competitive against Sydney. So, and the Bulldogs game was before that. Look, obviously, the younger we're getting, the more challenging it's going to be to win on the road. But there's plenty of optimism at the club. The spirit's there. Obviously at home it's a different ball game with our crowd, really getting behind us. So it'll be great for experience, and of course we give ourselves a chance. We play to win.
How is Tyler Brockman holding up at the moment?
Yeah, he's okay. He's back at the club, so it's quite complex, and I've spoken about this a little bit the last few days. Where there's two issues really. There's the police investigation, which we can't comment on, and then there's getting the best out of Brocky. From a wellbeing point of view. So we're working at two angles at the moment, and we'll keep you posted as much as we can, but he won't be available for a couple of weeks at least, and we'll work through all those issues, and we'll keep you updated.
Will he continue to train with the club though during this time?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's important that whilst we work through some of the issues he has, he maintains his fitness, hits some metrics around there, so when he comes back he's available. From a conditioning point of view, which is still pretty important.
Diwa, as they call him.
Diwa, yeah.
Have you seen that? I've noticed the last two announcements of blokes making their debuts, whatever. It's been incredible excitement. Is it any extraordinary circumstances? Young blokes, or what is it?
We've just done it a little bit differently. I mean, I think who was last week? Harvey. Yeah, we took all the players upstairs amongst the rest of the football club, so there would have been a bit more energy with that. And then yesterday we brought all the football club downstairs to the football department. So you probably looked like there was more energy because there was 150 people with the announcement, whereas you normally do it in the theatre and you mic them up, and it's good for the players. But we're just trying to, guided by Pikey and what he's trying to get the whole club connected a little bit more. I think it's been good for the last couple of weeks. I don't know what we'll do next time, but it's been pretty refreshing.
What does that do you think? Does that create fresh energy or something, or a sense of...
It's the united piece around the footy club. We've always been pretty united, and especially the last couple of years, it's been really tough for everyone. And obviously we're the front line of the football club, we get that. But yeah, I mean, you work at the club for a reason, whether it's in accounts or marketing or in the football department. You like the industry, you love the industry, and you love the club. And I don't know, it feels like at the Eagles, there's a lot of supporters who've born and bred. So that doesn't always happen in Victoria. So quite often you go where the work is, but a lot of our staff barrack for the club and have all their life. So when they see a debutant and they're part of it, I think there's extra motivation, and the unity's pretty strong.
How do you restructure your forward line without Jake, given how good he's been and how important he's been?
Yeah, we need some guys to step up. I think with Yo and Jake, you look at our highlights for this year, and a lot of them had those two in it. So a chance for Liam Ryan to, another step forward. Excuse me, with his rebuild really from back. He's missing a year of football, but we need him at his best, and Ryan will play a role. And yeah, obviously Darling and Jack Williams he had a pretty good game on the weekend. So we probably need them to all lift, because Jake's been very, very good for us.
So Jack, almost his work as a forward is going to be, it was important last week, but going to be more important this week. He almost needs to play as the pseudo marking target.
Yeah, Williams or Darling?
Williams.
Yeah. Well, look, what he had kicked three. He's probably, you put in the book, he'd have 8 or 9 touches, kick a goal, and do a bit of ruck work for the the last 15 games he's played. On the weekend, I think he had 15 and kicked 3. A bit more confidence from the previous week. So yeah, and he's 19, 20. So we'd love him to step up again. But Darling's, he's the leader of that forward line, and he's performed really well with maybe not goals, but the rest of the piece around it, the effort he's put in, and the commitment around the contest and pressure. I think Jack Darling's been instrumental with what we've been doing down there. So he just needs to continue to do that.
Can you any way you can get Bailey Williams down there, coach? Because I guess whoever gets Darcy Moore is going to be going, oh, thanks. And then so.
I think long term definitely, and that's what we trained him up for pre-season. Took him 4 or 5 weeks to get the rhythm back in the ruck work, and I think Jack rucked a bit more. Jack Williams rucked a bit more on the weekend when Bailey sort of went forward a couple of times. So we might continue to do that, but yeah, he's always sort of fighting unders Bailey with the ruck craft, because I think he's a forward ruck. So until we get Flinny back or one of the other rucks come through, he's still going to need him in the ruck.
Obviously with that Yo, you need another person into that set of bouncers. When Harley had that rest, you had Jack go in, Petricelli go in a lot more.
Yep.
Do you see that happening again, or is that for Ruben or Campbell with Hunt coming back?
Yeah, there's a good synergy amongst our mids. I thought Tim Kelly stood up last week when Yo went off, in particular that last quarter. Dom Sheed's, a couple of games back in now. He sort of got a late reprieve a few weeks ago last week when Ryan was out pretty late. So he'll step up. Ruben's been out on the wing and on ball a little bit, so that needs to probably continue to be looked at, because I thought he was pretty good on the weekend. So and Harley's, he's still learning his craft. He's 19 and he's going to have really good days and some days where he just contributes. So yeah, that's growing that group of midfielders, that either 19 or 20 or 30. So yeah, they'll keep growing.
Looked at the stat during the week from the last 4 weeks. You're averaging 46 points from clearances, with number 1 in the AFL.
Is that right?
But the two drivers for that were Yo, who had I think 17 scores from clearances, and Waterman has kicked 11 goals from those clearances. So missing those two, that's going to hurt your scoring. How do you look to change that up or try and keep that going?
Well, that's what I said earlier. A lot of our highlights have had Yo to Waterman. So it just has to be Sheed to Ryan now, or Harley to Jack Williams. So it's you just got to step up. We don't want to be, and maybe we are a little bit at the moment, a club that relies on our best players to perform well. You want to be quite balanced across the board and have a system that's, just the next player comes in. But foolish to think we can replace Yo straight away. But I think we've got enough cattle there to help carry the load across the board.
How's Liam Ryan going, do you think?
I think he's building. Yeah, I think he's probably going how I expected him to. Still think that first game he played, I can't remember what game, it might have been Gold Coast, genuinely nervous during the week about his body a little bit still. So I think the confidence is building every week. We haven't really seen him fly for a mark yet, have we? So, yeah, I think there's some things that he's working through in terms of confidence. But yeah, he went for a pretty big hanger at training yesterday, so hopefully he can do that this week.
Because physically, a hamstring tendon in either leg, I would imagine that would be a concern
Be a bit of a worry, yeah.
for a player. Do you feel like, are all his metrics at training showing you that he's physically 100%?
They are. I mean, the Waffle games, we played him half back and he was hitting 32, 33k an hour. So he's done it. Probably haven't quite seen that speed and agility and, you know, flying for those marks just yet. But I'm pretty patient. He's been out for a year, you know, 2 significant injuries. So we're just going to have to take time.
For some reason, their best football at the MCG doesn't seem to quite translate to Marvel. It couldn't be the 3K trip up the road. Maybe it's the dimensions of the ground or something. Does that give you just a little bit of a look?
I don't know how many games they've played there, so it's probably a small sample size. We've actually been okay at Marvel. I think, you know, the last 5 or 6 games has been reasonably competitive. I know the Bulldogs had their way with us a little bit, but outside of that, we've been, you know, and we travel a lot, so we're used to it. I'm sure Collingwood aren't too worried about going down the road. Their brand and their style is built off contest and pressure, so I don't think it'd matter where they play.
Do you tag or try to tag Nick Dacos?
We've definitely got to look at it. I haven't seen too many people do it successfully, so if it helps us win, we'll do it. It might be a go-to, might start with it, but yeah, he's pretty good wherever he goes. And the problem with players like that is they just put themselves in different positions to help the team. So whilst that might work, that you don't win. So yeah, we're aware of that, but he's probably the best player in the comp at the moment.
You're hoping that Harley crosses swords with him at some stage?
Crosses swords with him? No. Oh look, they might play on each other at stages. It'll be, you know, Harley's 19. Dacos is probably the best player in the competition, so he's learning so much every week. Obviously playing alongside some of our established players, but also every week going against the best. So you'll have some really good moments, Harley, and he'll keep growing.
So he leans on Tim Kelly this week, Harley a bit?
Yeah, look, he's just learning off everyone, you know. So he's a great kid, and he'll continue to get better as we go. And as long as we don't put any more pressure on him to be the best in the competition next week, you know, he should have a great career.
Is Harley the sort of person that is probably going to fancy the idea of a one-on-one with Nick Dacos during the course of the day?
No, I don't think so. I think he likes playing against the best, but I don't think he's, you know, desperate to prove himself every week like that. I think he wants to win, and he wants to play with his mates. So that hasn't changed since I've met him.